this week. I try to avoid it.
I left it there before and I have not looked back. I go ahead.
Probably moved away. Probably like 90 school originally I was in Springfield.
Oh.
Then probably from like 8 or 10 hours more ago, I moved to like Dale City. And then I had to yeah.
That was Manassas.
Yeah, I lived in West Springfield. 8 years ago.
Exactly.
I'm gonna see it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then another hand, this is literally
This is just our
They're out keeping part of the parking lot.
Wow. We were behind like in the neighborhood behind the middle school.
So thank you all for waiting. We've gotten a few technical difficulties here.
It was my grandmother's house, and my great grandmother's house was in the front. I don't think we even really had a driveway. We came to my great grandmother's house, and when she said, I guess they had 3 or 4 acres back there. And when they sold it, they put a cul-de-sac there with like 8 or 9 houses.
Each 400,000 apiece.
Probably. Yeah, they definitely didn't fit in the neighborhood.
And there's
Our
that
neighborhood.
one. Okay.
I had a bunch of aunts that was old town like that in the 50s.
I just need to get a copy of this, but it's not letting me.
Nice. My great grandmother
No, they
lived in
moved
Old
up before
Town
that.
too. She, I don't know when she moved. My great grandmother, she,
Is there another URL? about
Finally
that
went to a
on your
nursing
Facebook page, Ross?
That's what I'm looking for.
I remember her house. It had to be-
Right there.
Server URL.
Probably went into a nursing home and the lady answered it. She lived in the other room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I was 18.
This is how I've always done it in the past,
I
so.
think in 96.
Done this with Facebook.
I should be so lucky. I got 17 more years and I check out my dad.
Is Aaron on here still? Hey, Aaron.
Oh, wow.
We're having trouble with the Facebook Live. Can you see our screen?
So I figured I got 17 years left.
I don't see your screen. I mean, I see you. I see the camera in the room. I don't see PowerPoint or anything like that. And I'm also watching Facebook and I don't see it.
Now,
Okay, now I see your screen, your computer screen with Facebook.
so we need to set up this and
Yeah.
streaming URL. The streaming URL
Yeah.
is,
I've been in IT for.
there's a stream key.
It's nothing.
I've done this with you in the past, so I don't know if I'm missing a step or what. but-
I've never seen all those keys before. It just, whenever I've done it, it just posts directly. Are you logged into the comprehensive plan Facebook page?
This is, and then this is the meeting right here. It says set up live meeting.
They must have changed some settings because
We had
I never get that.
What are you trying to do?
I never get this, what I'm looking at right now with the streaming key and all that. I've never seen that.
Oh, you're trying to stream on Facebook and Zoom?
Yeah, so people on the Facebook page
I don't, I
can watch.
Wait till they hack in.
We don't want any of that tonight.
Okay, I'm not sure, Aaron.
I haven't done one of these in a while, Ross, and this is a new setup for me. I mean, normally I log into my Zoom, and then on Zoom I do.
When I go to Zoom, okay, when I go over to the Zoom here, and I go to more, and I go to live on custom live streaming service, it takes me to this page. And it asks me to put all this information on from the Facebook Live page that you set up. And when I put this,
That's
up, it says
EGI.
valid.
No, that's global. You know, I think
That's new to me. I mean, normally when I do it,
I've never heard.
I start from Zoom and I just basically stream live to Facebook, and I don't have whatever you're looking at here with streaming key. So, but again, I haven't done this in probably a month, so they may have changed stuff.
we don't.
Can we record this Zoom and then stream
Yeah,
it
that's what I mean,
later?
no one's gonna be able to watch it live, but, unless we can get this.
But we could stream it to the Facebook
Okay,
page
so
later,
this-
right?
So this is the live stream,
I think that's probably the way to do it.
and then this should be,
I guess it is. I was trying to do some research on it because I really just thought things happened. You settings locked down, but then
I don't know why there's so many things, it's never been like this before with all this stuff. Use stream key.
Yeah, this might be a new setting they've just rolled out.
Copy these into your streaming software. This may be referred to as URL or address in your streaming software.
So I appreciate your patience. We're trying to get this so that it would stream directly to the Facebook page as well, which is not working. So we may just record it in Zoom and hold the
There should be
meeting
one
and
thing
then
to
add it to the Facebook page later.
I don't know, maybe if you try logging in or something. It'll work. They've changed their way that they have the streaming set up, so this is kind of a. Enter a live stream. Maybe go to the top and hit.
You go ahead, I'm up for all options. What you got?
Go up here one more time. And what's right here? If you kind of move this over, you have to hit it. Yeah, okay. Use paired encoder. See what comes up now. I don't know, guys, since they've changed it.
Okay, well, I think that we can just apologize. Maybe, Aaron, could you at least post on the Facebook page that we're having some technical difficulties and that we will post this at a later time?
Yeah, I'll try to. I don't think I have admin access, but I should probably be able to just comment on the page.
Great.
Wait, here, hit this,
Do you have?
and then hit done.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay, now try that again. I don't know why it keeps doing this.
You have it enabled in the Zoom settings, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the username is include @ symbols. So is it just deputy clerk?
I think you have to do it from the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, that's what we did. We went onto the Zoom meeting, and then on the settings, you click go live using a software.
Well, Ross, it's 10 minutes
All
after,
right,
so we
well-
really need to get these
Sorry,
things.
guys, they've changed it up on us.
All right. Fix it so that we have the Zoom meeting and then the PowerPoint up.
Zoom meeting is. Our screen is being shared, so can you see that, Aaron?
I see your browser with the Zoom page up. It says broadcast meeting.
Can you click on more?
That's what we did, and then we clicked live on a custom streaming service, and then it took us to this. So it's not, I don't think it's gonna work.
Okay. It doesn't have a live on Facebook option.
I think you have to go screen 2 to share.
Screen 2. Where's screen?
This, the PowerPoint.
Oh, that's what I clicked on.
Okay, so Aaron, do you see the first screen?
I do, it looks good.
Okay. Thank you again for your patience. And welcome tonight to our first community meeting for the Blueprint 2041 for the comprehensive plan for King William County. I appreciate you all taking time out of your evening tonight to be with us and learn a little bit about what this special project is. It's a very, very important project for King William County, and I'm really looking forward to working further on it. My name is Evie Sloan, and I'm with Hill Studio, and this is Ross Thomas, and he is a planner also with Hill Studio, and joining us from Zoom is Aaron Arnett with Arnett Muldrow, and they are doing a lot of the demographics and the market analysis and the economic analysis for this project. So is there a way for you to be able to move that menu down? Okay. So I wanted to, yes, that would be great. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about the comprehensive planning team. So Hill Studio is the lead planning, architecture and landscape architecture and historic preservation firm that's handling this particular project. Arnett Muldrow Associates is assisting us with it, and we work together quite frequently on a lot of long-range planning projects for communities all across Virginia and North Carolina and even South Carolina. And helping us on this project and really guiding us is what is the Comprehensive Plan Committee that has been established, and that includes members of the Planning Commission, the Economic Development Authority, the county staff, and also the West Point town staff. So many of you may not be familiar with the comprehensive plan, but it's a very important document that helps to guide public decision making. And it's required by the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's usually a 20-year plan, or that's the planning horizon. And it's they suggest that it be reviewed about every 5 years. And some communities may even review it on an annual basis. But it establishes the community vision, the goals, and also strategies for how you reach those, that vision and those goals. But most important, it guides public investment, in particular, where there's going to be public facilities and certain utilities, where you need to have community services. And it also guides land development and growth. And an important part of it is that there is a future land use map that shows where there is growth and where there is conservation. It also provides a foundation and guidance for land development regulations. And so if you can think about the comprehensive plan as a big puzzle, and it's got all these little elements and everything basically needs to fit together. And some of the topics that we look at are things like the economy, transportation, utilities, housing, public safety, parks and recreation, community services like social services, historic preservation, the environment, and natural resources. So all of those things are things about King William County that we are studying now, and we need to understand how all those things work together, what the long-term vision of the county is, what are some of the goals that you want to achieve in the next 20 years, and how do we get there? So the last plan that was done for King William County was actually adopted in 2016. And it was a revision of a plan that was done in 2002. So obviously over the last 20 years, there's been a lot of changes that have happened in the county. And one of the key maps in the existing plan is this future land use map. And you can see most of the development is in the central garage area and also in West Point. But the future land development map actually helps guide the county where they put public utilities, where development is encouraged, and where there's land conservation. So let's talk a little bit about what the project, us updating the comprehensive plan, what that looks like. We started this project in January. And since then, we have been involved in project orientation and discussion with county staff and comprehensive plan committee. And also we have been assembling all kinds of information, reports, conditions, and documenting and talking with different people around the county, either key community leaders or county staff. We have also developed an online survey for residents to complete to help us understand what your perspectives are. And I realize that internet is a real issue in this county, but hopefully you will be able to complete that survey in some form. And we also want to be able to have that in a paper form. I'm not sure whether that is quite available yet, but we can get that in paper form. Essentially, our team is at a point where we are ready to really get involved in moving forward with what we understand about the county. And we will be developing some demographic and market assessment figures. And we've already started that, but for our purposes, we're still at a very early stage in developing this plan. The next thing on our work session is once we have some better demographic and market analysis done so that we understand what are the economic and demographic trends and where there are opportunities and what the existing conditions are for the county, we will actually look at hosting a development workshop, and that's probably going to be sometime this summer. And we will identify several priority areas that we want to kind of focus on. And that will also be a public meeting. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that workshop a little bit later on. But then we began writing the draft plan. And there's also going to be a public meeting when we have that draft plan. And so you'll have an opportunity to see what this long range plan looks like and the direction that it's going, to be able to comment on that. And then once we get the draft done, then we will have a final plan that the Planning Commission will take action on and the Board of Supervisors will take action on. And that will provide then a guide for the future. It's not a mandatory document, but it does provide good guidance for making public decisions. So, Erin, I'm going to turn it over to you, hopefully, and you can talk a little bit about the demographic and market assessment that you've been doing.
Okay, so thank you, Evie. The next slide, this slide, kind of shows the beginning of where we are with this market assessment, and some. Just want to share with you some general demographics that we've pulled so far. Really, you can see that there's about 16,600 people that live in the county right now. So basically the takeaways that we see from a population standpoint is that you all in King William County are a rural county, but you're still growing. When we look at age, you are a little bit older than the metro area. You're actually part of the Richmond metropolitan area, believe it or not. You're on the outside of that area, a little bit older than that, but you're younger than some of the adjacent counties around you. Ethnicity, you're predominantly white, but the minority populations, the Black population and the American Indians, obviously that's something that is incredibly important for us to understand and make sure that we engage throughout this process. So rural community, but you're still growing, and you're growing at a fairly healthy rate. The next slide shows income characteristics. And if you'll advance, Evie, we'll talk about that. Essentially, you see that when this slide pops up, you'll see that the median household income in the county is about $67,000, just under $67,000 a year. That's lower than the region, the Richmond metropolitan area, but it's on par with some of your adjacent counties that you have around there. Similar indicators that we have there on poverty rate, you have 8.4% of residents are below that poverty rate. That's not a significantly high number, but again, that's something that really connects to or mirrors some of the trends that we see with some of the other income indicators that you have. Education, about 58% of your population has higher than a high school education. And that includes about 31% of your population has a college degree. And the last thing on this slide shows that it shows jobs. You're still mostly manufacturing. I think that shows about 18% of your employment is in the manufacturing sector. But when you think about it too, you really don't have a whole lot of jobs, and that points again to the rural nature of your county. Small population, you've got just over 4,000 jobs in the county total. And another interesting thing about this is that 88% of the residents age 25 and above who have jobs commute outside of the county. Now that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, but I will say that that's not uncommon in a rural county at all, particularly a rural county that's adjacent to a major metropolitan center. And we can dig in a little bit deeper when we get into the analysis about where people are going. But again, 88% of your workers are commuting outside. And then the last slide is about housing. Your median housing value in the county is about a little over $200,000 per house. Again, that's higher than most communities, rural communities that we work in the state. However, in your region, it's a little bit lower than what we see in the region. And as a frame of reference, Virginia, the state of Virginia, its median household or housing value is about $288,000. So you still lag the region a little bit, but you're higher than most other rural communities. Your housing stock is not, I mean, it's about 30 years old, which isn't the oldest, again, in rural communities like yours. But I think all of this points to the fact that you're growing fast, the fact that you have a housing value that is trending higher than most rural places, and the fact that the age of housing is not incredibly old, again, compared to other rural communities, points to that you are a growing community. You've got people coming into the area. You've got people that want to live in King William County. And predominantly single family detached by far. Again, that's not something that is uncommon in rural communities. So these three slides show a snapshot of the demographics that we have been able to analyze so far. We're going to dig into a lot more detail in this moving forward. Demographic trends. We're going to look at current real estate market in terms of housing and affordability. We're also going to be doing a lot of analysis on the commercial market. So looking at retail demand and commercial demand, and really trying to identify those opportunities for growth based on what the population in King William County needs right now. Ultimately, all of this analysis is going to inform the plan. What is needed? Where should it go? How can we recruit all this? And of course, what does that mean to the future of the land use and growth to the county? And that's to come. And the next time that we meet with y'all in June, we're going to have a lot more detail on this market analysis. But this is just our first cut snapshot of what we're seeing in the county. Thank you.
Okay, So I wanted to share with you what we've heard in talking with various stakeholders. And of course, we do have this online survey that is there. And so we're getting additional comments, and I'll share with you some of that. But from the stakeholders discussion, what we're kind of hearing about the county is that the rural lifestyle and the character of King William County is very important, and that the agriculture and the farmland is highly valued. There is a desire to have some improved housing solutions and perhaps some choices. A diverse economy and jobs is very important for the county growth and the future of the county. Internet broadband infrastructure is critical, and I need to emphasize that. I think that that's the first thing that we have heard from just about everyone. Small business development is an opportunity in the county. Natural resources are wonderful here, and tourism can also be an opportunity that perhaps can bring in economic and growth for the county, as well as just enjoyment for the citizens of King William County. Updating the future land use plan. You saw the future land use map previously from the 2016 plan. So that will be a key thing that we will be involved with and working with everyone as we move forward. But updating the future land use plan is really needed. And the central garage is positioned right now for growth with utilities and development. As far as the survey goes, it's only been up probably for 2.5 weeks, something like that. And so we've only had about 50 responses so far. But you can see that the responses kind of align with the discussions that we've had with stakeholders. And that is that the special features of the county, the rural tranquility, the landscape of the county is very special. The people are very friendly, and the land is beautiful. There's good schools. It's in a good location. There's affordable taxes, affordable land, and affordable homes. And the county has 3 Native American reservations, which is very, very unique in the state of Virginia. Some of the challenges that people have pointed out is that the county really could benefit from a consistent vision and direction. And so that's what this plan really is all about. And I think that that's what you will get from it. There's a need for many more small businesses and stores to be able to serve the population. There's a poor communications infrastructure, in particular the internet. There's a need for quality jobs and employers. There is a need for consistent leadership and direction. There's been a lot of changes over the last several years, and so some consistency is very much needed, as well as improved emergency services. So in terms of the vision from the county, what we're kind of hearing from feedback from the survey is that people feel like that the county could learn from neighboring counties with regard to how to balance business, how to bring in industry, how to work with residential development, preserve farmland and promote agriculture, and also control sprawl. Their other vision is that they would want to expand and attract business to the county, to encourage quality residential areas that are coordinated with available public services, and those are things like the road system, the utility system, the emergency services, and the schools. Embrace the resources that the county has, as well as the location of the county. Increase the number and the choices of stores. Direct the growth to appropriate areas in the county. Maintain the rural character. You've seen that pop up again. Promote tourism. Build a strong economy, maintain low affordable taxes. And, there is another item there, but I think we'll just move forward. In terms of opportunities, There is a need for a drugstore, an additional grocery store. A farmer's market was mentioned as an opportunity for the county. Think about long-term agriculture and farm preservation, improved industrial parks, perhaps a walkable mixed-use village center in the Route 360 corridor, expand outdoor recreation, and in particular, water access to the rivers, provide upscale residential communities, particularly single-family and senior housing, small business development, and then tourism. So those are all opportunities. So you can really begin to see the pattern that we are seeing as we are learning more about the county. So what I'd like to do is to ask you, what do you think? And I actually have some paper surveys that were at the front door. And if you didn't get one, please feel free to take one of those, and you can either fill it out here and leave it with us, or you can drop it off to Sherry. Maybe somebody wants in.
Did you put those feedback forms at the front?
They're up there at the sign-in table. But anyway, I'd like to find out from you, and maybe this gives you an opportunity to just share with us, what is your vision for the county in the next 10 to 20 years? What do you see as some of the top challenges? And where are there opportunities to improve the county? And so I don't know, you tell me, do you feel like what we're hearing is consistent with what you think? Is there anything that we've missed? Please, you can either fill it out, or you can offer your opinion here now. We're here to listen because this is your public meeting, but hopefully you do understand that this long-term plan is very important. And our purpose is to understand the vision and direction for the county and what people see as important, and try to really work with all that and help the county move in the direction that is desired by the citizens and the stakeholders for King William County. So do you have any comments on the vision, or even the top challenges or the opportunities?
Maybe I'll say something.
Okay, thank
I'm not
you.
allowed to speak. We went about this all wrong. We should have been doing the comp plan first, and we didn't. And it was, I don't know how they got to that place, other than somebody didn't do or wasn't equipped to do their job. But it should have been a comp plan, it should have been your ordinances. And we didn't do that. And so consequently, we've gotten a lot of pushback, which was unnecessary had it been done correctly. I think we should, agricultural community, and we should basically hone in on that. But along that 360 corridor, I think that there are other things in housing that would be appropriate. And I'll discuss that with you later.
Okay.
But, leave the agricultural areas agriculture, and leave the business zones, which should be the 360, 30, 4 ways down, not cut very far on 30, as your commercial corridors. And, I think that the outlying areas should remain pristine personally. And as for highways, you're not going to get better highways because of how the legislature has taken all the funding and put it on the peninsula and up in Northern Virginia. And we get, what, $700,000
For 6 years.
for 6 years for maintenance and for construction. That's not enough to build a half mile. So I wrote a letter to the governor, and I said, I'll cut you a deal. I said, you give me about an hour, hour and a half of your time, and I will make you blueberry muffins, chicken salad, and I'll take you for a ride on some of these dangerous roads. As it ended up, he lateraled the letter to the commissioner lateraled it to the administrative engineer in Fredericksburg. We took her for a ride, and the one comment she made on one of the roads was, "This road is collapsing." No joke. They don't, and they still haven't fixed it because they don't have the money. And until the appropriation system is revised to give the rural areas what they deserve, then we're still going to be in that situation.
Yeah, very, very familiar with that, and I think that King William is not unlike any other
Oh, I know.
major county, whether it's an urbanized county or whether it's a rural county. But you're right, the rural counties actually are suffering a lot more than the.
But Northern Virginia's roads are great. You know?
Yeah.
But ours are.
Okay, thank you for your comments and
You're
speaking up. Does anybody else have anything to say about the future of the county, the vision, various challenges or opportunities?
I have one that I think the county, first thing we need to do is get all county employees. The changeover, we need to have a stable system here at this courthouse before we really can move anywhere. Because as soon as we get started, that one's gone, this one's gone. We have no, and if you listen to everybody else around us, we're a big joke. Until we can get stable here in our county and stable people as county administrator, zoning people that stay here. Yeah, and, but, you know, people who's making the rules, we need to have quality people helping try to get this back so we're a stable organization. And we can't do none of the other stuff until we're stable here first.
Right. And I think that we've heard that, and you're absolutely correct with that. Hopefully this plan, one of the things that as a planner that I really want to ensure happens when I do long range plan for a community is that the plan that we develop in concert with the citizens and the local government needs to be very user-friendly and understandable and really be very clear about the direction that the county or the municipality needs to go in. And it also needs to be a document that is exciting, that has some graphics in it, that really makes that particular place want to be something special, to concentrate on the assets of that community and the direction for improving that and enhancing those assets. But I believe that this long-range plan will be a user-friendly document that can be used by the Board of Supervisors, by county staff, by the Planning Commission, by others, including developers or citizens, so that you have kind of a general direction for the way that you want your county to grow. And yes, it is ultimately the responsibility of the Board of Supervisors and the county administration, and having some consistency there is very important. But hopefully this plan provides somebody at least a base to be able to work from. Okay, anything else?
Is that someone waiting to get in the meeting?
No, it's someone on, maybe a chat.
Okay. And I know Mr. Carter raised his hand in the chat.
Okay.
Can we get a hard copy of this plan? Will a survey be sent by mail to get true consensus? Okay, maybe this is an opportunity to talk about that. The plan is not written yet. We are in the process of actually researching everything and getting everything together. And yes, there will be a hard copy of the plan in draft form that will be provided for public review, as well as anybody who wants to see it. And that probably will happen sometime in the fall, probably late fall. What was the other question? The survey is not going to be sent out by mail, but we do intend to have paper copies available. And the county right now and Hill Studio are working together to try and get the word out about how you can complete that survey. It can be completed on your phone as well as internet. And if you need a paper copy, then we will get, we have the ability to be able to put your comments on that, but we have not intended on mailing them. As far as the Berkeley Group studies, I have been following that since we started on this project. And we will work together on their information and our information. We will kind of consolidate that and work together. And so it's really kind of concurrent. You were right. Ideally, it's better if you do the comprehensive plan and then do the zoning ordinance. But it's not unusual that someone wants to tackle the zoning ordinance, especially if there are problems that the county basically felt like it needed to kind of address. But we will be working with the Berkeley Group and coordinating it with this project. And if you can kind of think of those two projects as being kind of working at the same time as we go along, I think that it will have a nice
You won't be
outcome.
working with the Berkeley Group, will you? You'll be taking their
Their information.
along with the 2010 survey that was
Right.
done. The Berkeley Group survey having different reasons for being developed, the 2010 survey being 10 years old. So you'll take those two documents and harmonize them with the current survey for the 2021 comprehensive.
Yes.
plan, right?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, ma'am.
My suggestion too is when they tried to update the old one, it was almost written as if it were an ordinance, but your survey or your comprehensive plan should be an overview. It should be short, it should be concise, not 200 pages of what you can or can't do like an ordinance would be written. But it's a vision for the corridors, the lifestyles, and probably no more than 20 images would suffice.
Usually in the plans, I think that it would be ideal if you could get a 20-page document, but I doubt that you would be able to do that. However, I am a stickler for having some type of an executive summary that's probably closer to 5 pages that gives it to you in a nutshell without you having to read the full 200 pages. Okay. Anyway, so we will continue to work on that. And do you have any other comments? Maybe you need to just take the little paper copy and kind of write some comments or talk with us afterwards. That would be fine. Take the survey. These same questions are kind of on the survey, but you can see what we're kind of hearing from people. And I think it's kind of consistent and it kind of falls in line.
Well, do with the internet, I'm not a good internet person, but it's not an easy flow to go through this system at all. If you don't know what you're doing like me, it's terrible.
Well, we'll give you a paper copy, okay?
But I'm just saying, just with the, you said you already send copies out. Who got the copies? I didn't see nothing.
No, I didn't say we
You
had.
said you had about 50 already. So who was the 50 got copies? Where was the rest of the?
Those are 50 that have taken it online.
Those are people that have taken it online.
I ain't seen nothing about online. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's only been active like 2 weeks. And
it's not user friendly is what I'm saying.
I understand where you're coming from, but in today's world, it is very much oriented towards internet and technology. But I do realize that there is still, that we still have a responsibility to reach out to those people who prefer either an in-person visit or completing something on paper or just talking face to face. So I'd be happy to talk with you a little bit longer.
I just haven't
afterwards.
seen it. I don't go on it all the time, but I'm just saying, you said you had surveys and different stuff. And, nothing publicized, where I look at, that's all I was saying.
Okay, well, and that will be up and running for several months. throughout the duration of this project. So you've still got a chance, and you can even take it online if you want to, but we'll get you a paper copy as well. Yes, sir.
I did take the survey online. It said it would take about 10 minutes.
Oh,
I spent an
really?
hour. And I'm not sure I got everything I wanted.
I don't know. When I took it, it was about 10 minutes. So.
I think Supervisor Wiskowski said about 30.
Another thing we-
Maybe, did you like leave paragraphs?
When Virginia Tech did KW Cat's, well, a vision of growth in the county a number of years ago. And I told, is it Mr. Hill, when he was here before?
Uh-huh.
What they did is they had the computer set up in the lobby of the courthouse, in libraries, so that people that wanted to do the survey could go on and do it right there in the library. And then it would be sent to tech, and then all of the results were compiled there. You don't have to send out paper copies, but it would be accessible at different areas.
Okay. Well, I think that that's a great idea, and we can talk to Sherry
We did have
Graham about doing
400
that.
Responses on that survey.
Yeah.
And by the way, what do y'all consider a good response?
Yes, that's what I was gonna.
What do you,
What do you consider a good response? A
Percentage.
um,
How many people you think is gonna take the survey and can rate it down out of 16,000 plus? No.
you know, I know that there are a lot of statistics about whether a survey is relevant or not. My feeling is, for the purposes of developing the comprehensive plan, if you get some consistency in terms of ideas and direction, then it doesn't really matter whether you have a 60% participation rate or a 95% participation. But, you know, I think you can tell just from the stakeholder discussions that we've had so far, and this has not been going on very long, and from the 50 responses that there is some consistency there. And we need to learn more. I don't know, did you see any inconsistencies or things that were missed? Or did those hit a lot of the high points that basically you personally feel?
I thought the survey was good. I thought the questions were good. It's probably as good a survey as you can get to draw out the information.
And it's to draw out the information. Really, the plan itself is what people need to review, and that's what's going to really hit home is your vision for the county, the goals for the county, the growth direction, the future land use map, and some of the ways to be able to kind of put that in motion so that you get to where you're going to go. Yes.
Keep in mind, we had 16,800 people. A lot of those are in first and second grade. A lot of them are married couples or in diapers. To be statistically valid, going to your point, that if you have a lot of people saying the same thing, to be statistically valid, you need about a 3% sample only. And if we get 400 or 500, I would be delighted. I think that would give us a really good feel for how the county is. But technically, if you're getting the same answer, 3% is large enough from a statistical standpoint.
Mr. Carter wanted to speak also online on Zoom.
Somebody else is going to have to do that.
He raised his hand earlier. And,
We have
I think he also wants
opportunities.
to speak though.
If you open up where everyone's face should be.
Did you unmute?
Yeah.
We should have you up here.
More.
Mr. Carter, can you hear us?
Is he on mute? Oh, okay.
Should be able to.
Depends on how good his internet connection is, right?
How's it going?
There we go.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Can you hear me? It does. So
Great.
can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I was one of the ones that took the online survey, and I was pleased to see how well it was written, for one. And I agree with management having to be better in this county, from the admin to the board of supervisors and engagement from the people. I would like to see more than 50 people take this survey, because I think it would be more beneficial if they did. Also, we have industrial parks here that are underutilized. I think that should be one of the focuses for improvements and providing jobs and job security, as well as economic growth in this community. So if the EDA and the county can get all on board with these industrial parks, I think we will see that growth that we need and the diversity in jobs. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Carter, just so you understand that this survey has really only been live about 2 weeks, and it will be throughout the duration of this project, which will be several months. So we will definitely see more than, we've just received 50 surveys, since 50 responses in the last week and a half or something. And as far as the industrial parks go and the utilization of those, then this is something that with the comprehensive plan will look at in terms of business development and industrial employers and all of that. So you've raised 2 very good points. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
On your industrial side, is this part of looking at where we need our infrastructure, since we have nothing in the county? Is this part of the plan?
Yes, but to date, most of the infrastructure has been focused on central garage. So central garage is probably going to be the primary growth area, I think, by the time we kind of work a little bit more on this plan. But the infrastructure and how it kind of works is something that we will.
Because like the industrial park, we have no infrastructure there for sewer and water, I don't think. At all.
Right.
And, you know, if you have businesses all around there, you know, we're still lacking. How can we bring industry to the county if we have no infrastructure?
And so that's part of what this plan does, is that it looks at what you need, what you have to be able to grow, and how you basically get there. So you're asking very good questions. Well, let me go to the next slide. Oops.
I think you have one more question.
One more question?
Mine was to the same thing Mr. Pearsall just said. The industrial park is kind of on the outlying areas of the county, and it will sit like that until water and sewer makes it to that park, because the soil will not support septic systems, so it needs a sewer system there, and not many businesses are going to come in without the water.
Yeah.
So as you're looking at developing your comp plan, when we talk about commercial or residential growth within the comp plan, the water particularly is a huge issue. And it sounds great to say, let's do major subdivisions within the comp plan, but are we going to have the water and sewer to support that? I think is a major question that still needs to be answered.
You hit it right on the head. I mean, we've got to look at that, and we've got to plan for it for the next 20 years. And it's all pieces of the puzzle that have to kind of work together.
And if I may, our current acting county administrator did a marvelous job with the master utility plan that you all, I think, have a copy of already.
Yes.
So that helps understand what we have, where we're trying to go, and the two should be in harmony.
You know, the other thing that I have to really point out is that a long-range plan has to be realistic as well. And many of you know that local governments, whether you're a municipality or whether you're a rural county, local government really can't do it all by themselves. It takes partners to be able to pull off the things that you need to have done. So for instance, with something like the industrial park, you may need to have a private developer kind of take on that park, but you may need a partner, say for instance with the county, that works with that developer to be able to kind of improve the infrastructure that comes to the park. So it's really great to be able to set a vision that you want to have these quality industrial parks where you have jobs, but you've also got to be realistic about how you can get there and the cost of that and how you're going to bring in the partners to make that happen. And that's all part of the plan as well. We may not be able to identify the partners, but at least we can elevate that discussion so that as you move forward, you may be able to recruit partners to have that kind of thing happen.
One of the things you said previously was some of the objectives, I believe I heard you say, were to attract businesses here, thus attracting more job opportunities here. But we can't have one without the other. So until we figure out the infrastructure problem, the water, the sewer, we're not going to attract any major businesses here. Thus, we're not going to be a major employer in the area. So it seems to me that infrastructure needs to be real high on the priority list.
Okay.
And I would ask Mr. Hutchins, because I don't know, what kind of capacity do we have right now for more major subdivisions or large commercial projects in the Central Garage area?
Nothing with the infrastructure that we've got. It's that capacity.
So when you talk about the developing inside the comp plan, currently that's really not a possibility.
Not without the next step of infrastructure improvement, water tower in particular.
This is going to be a major, this is going to be a 20-year plan. And looking at that 20-year plan, look at how we can grow over that 20-year plan. We're not going to get the water and sewer immediately, but as we develop the water and sewer, we should be able to grow.
Right, and that is what the master utility plan looked to address and needs to work, you said, hand in hand with this.
So how do we develop a good comp plan or a good vision, still playing the what if or the when scenario? We don't know, will we have water in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? So how do we move forward in the next 5, 10 to 20 years without knowing that?
I think when we adopted the master utility plan, that was adopting that we will have more infrastructure, but we would have a water tower within the next 5 years. Didn't identify exactly where, that's what we're still working on now. But that only works with, or that plan only works if we follow the plan. And that was saying water tower and growth of pipeline.
So where does that leave us in the interim?
Houses
As far
can
as
be,
being business friendly,
right.
or attracting businesses if we do not have the infrastructure to offer them.
We have, what's on the books is what can be developed. We put our system at capacity, beyond capacity, but that doesn't mean that right now you can't go and build a house and put it on the system. There's no moratorium.
But if the major subdivisions are already approved on the books, that they all decided to pull the trigger right now, we would be in trouble.
Yes.
So,
But all of this, right now we are in fact-finding mode with all these studies, and we're going to massage it all together and look at how you basically grow industry, where there are opportunities for business, where there are opportunities for residential growth, what are the limitations. All of that is what the purpose of the plan is. So you're asking very, very detailed questions, and at the end of this project, that plan will provide you with direction. It won't give you the absolute answer, but it will at least point you in a direction and say, these are some of the critical things that you as a county need to be able to figure out how to work with it and do it in order to be able to move forward. And we will help you be able to figure out what some of those steps will be over a 2, 5, 10, 20-year period.
I'll just have, quickly, I would like to suggest that the EDA is involved in this and there's regular communication with them.
They actually are on the comprehensive plan committee.
Okay, good. They were brought in kind of late, I think, with the zoning
Question
ordinance.
back with infrastructure. I know down my way with the mills, they're starting to look at, I don't know who regulates water, but they're cutting water usage, trying to bring it down for the aquifer. Because this could be a problem with the county in
It
the
has
future.
been, that is, right now, we've got 3 groundwater withdrawal permits that we are applying for in the middle of different, at different times. Right now, on Central Garage, we are wrapping up getting the next 10-year groundwater withdrawal permit. And it's been a back and forth with DEQ to
I
get
couldn't
them.
remember who the regulation, because I know the mill are pulling, because the wells are beside us.
Right.
They're pulling 21 million gallons, but it's supposed to be cut back 11 or 12. That's why I was asking that question.
I don't know what so the mill, mill's down by you. I don't know the mills well. I know Nestle Purina or the industrial parks well. And there's 2 wells there. One just is private.
Right.
One that's county for the industrial park. Nestle uses most of it.
The question I was asking was who was the water, but the industry like Purina or the mill, or we gonna have a water problem?
We have the problem that we are dealing with is nailing down the exact amount of water that they're going to allow us to use. And in particular with the industrial park, that we need a new well to meet DEQ standards. So whereas we will be allowed to get the water that we need, we still have to invest to get it.
You're talking about industrial park, you're talking about the commerce park?
No, I'm talking about the industrial
The down
Park.
Purina.
Yes. And then as far as running more pipeline for the Commerce Park and the rest of Central Garage, all of that, we compiled all of the possible growth that we thought we might see in the next 20 plus 25 years into what we were asking for from DEQ to permit. They're not going to give us what we wanted. That's a high ask to begin with, but they're also amenable to doing a stepped growth so that it's not, it'll allow us to get the water we need. Let's put it that way.
So part of what we've got to figure out, working through this plan, is how much we want to allocate and where we want to allocate it.
Yeah.
Because state water control board is going to control what we have.
And I know one mistake we made on Commerce Park that aced us out of funding was they called it a Commerce Park. If they called it an industrial complex or an industrial Commerce Park, we would have been eligible for the state funding for roads. But the fact that they called it only a Commerce Park, and get many state funds, so it's,
Well, I think you all are really having a great discussion, and all the points that you have raised are very relevant. And I think that as we move forward with this plan, hopefully most of your questions will be answered. But the infrastructure, the business growth, the residential growth, and like I said, it's all pieces of the puzzle, right? One thing affects the other. And so that's why this plan is important. It provides some direction. And it's when a community has a long-range plan, that plan is what federal agencies and state agencies look at in order to be able to provide you with the transportation funds or the industrial funds or whatever may be available. So it's a very important document. Let me go through another couple of slides and then we can kind of continue our discussion. Which one is it?
Try again.
Okay, So where are we and what are the next steps? So Aaron Arnett talked with you about this demographic and market assessment, and there is going to be a joint meeting of the Planning Commission, the Board of Supervisors, and the Economic Development Authority on June 21st. And Aaron will have more information on the assessment that he's pulling together, and that will include things like economic and demographic trends, what you see here plus more, and also opportunities for growth and change. And so he will be sharing that at the June 21st session. Following that, we will have a design workshop that will also be open to the public. And that's probably sometime in the middle of July or towards the end of July. We will have some draft vision and goals plus this market assessment. We will be looking at some special areas, and those special areas may be something like some development areas in Central Garage. It might deal with parks and recreation areas. It might deal with some industrial site development. It might even deal with how you basically manage housing and subdivisions within the county. But anyway, we still need to figure out some of those priority areas. But essentially at a workshop like that, usually we will take all the information that we have pulled from the county and from the stakeholders, and we will look at visual and graphic ideas that we can share with the public, and you have the opportunity to comment on to move the county forward and to achieve the vision and the direction for the county. So that's a real exciting kind of a workshop that I think that you will enjoy, and it will hit on some of the items that we've talked about here tonight. And then after that, we actually write the draft plan and the recommendations and those topics that I went through before, like the environment, economy, transportation, business development, all that. We have a section on existing conditions, challenges and opportunities, and that's matched with the vision, the goals, and the strategies, and we have maps and graphics. And so it's a document that will have an executive summary that will be very, very informative. 5 pages, she's gonna hold me up to that. But anyway, so those are the next steps, and that's probably gonna be in late fall. And so I don't want you to think that we wait until the very last minute to kind of write this plan, because we're in the process of just kind of understanding it and then pulling all the information and getting the public comment and looking at the technical resources that we have available and the maps and other things. And so we're working on that now, and that we'll be using some of that even at the design workshop. And then I guess something that's really important is the demographic and market analysis, because that helps us understand where are there opportunities in the county? What are we kind of seeing here in terms of business and industry and housing? You know, what is the direction that we need to go in? And so it's called Blueprint 2041. We do have a Facebook page that we will be putting all kinds of information on for those of you who use Facebook. It's also on the county's webpage. We will also be trying to do various news releases or information to the local newspaper, any way that we can get the word out. But probably the easiest way is to get on your phone or your computer and go to this Facebook page, which is King William Comprehensive Plan. So, any other comments?
Got one online.
This is Benjamin. Good job.
Can we have a plan that incorporates and partners with the utilities company? I don't know. That's going to take, I can't answer that question, But I'll be glad to look at your comment a little bit later.
If I may, so as Rappahannock and Dominion put in new substations, where we can, we'll be tying the internet in as well. They're going to be good partners for us and for most rural areas to extend broadband access. I think Mr. Moore and others are working directly with Rappahannock and Dominion to understand what they're doing in terms of substations. And really, the only impact it would have on us is with the internet. So
Yeah, 'cause, we already talked about with Dominion. The lower end is the first phase of trying to get internet service in the county.
Right, I'm aware of that. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for coming tonight. This is the first meeting, but like I said, the survey has only been live for a little bit. And sir, if you'll leave your name and an address, we'll mail